All right, guys. Ultra Perfect Cell. His kit is now posted on the official website. We can take a look and see what he is doing. Now, there is one thing. There's one thing I'm going to check first. And the only reason why I'm checking this for Cell is because it would kind of make thematic sense for him to have this. And it is armor break on his blast cards. And obviously the thematic reason is because Ultra Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, who released in the same slot last year, he's the character that directly fought this character. He has the armor break mechanic. He's still, to this day, the only character in the game that has the armor break mechanic. Let me actually also pull up the other most recent Ultra characters, just so we can have a measuring stick comparison for this character's just sort of like base stats here, base array of mechanics. So Beast and Majin Vegeta, those are like the standard for Ultra characters. So before we even scroll, this is probably at minimum a top 3 character in the game, right? That's usually what they do for Ultra characters. They do not pull their punches when it comes to Ultras. They usually give Ultra characters a bit of extra cushion just to ensure they're better than like the entire rest of the game. That's just they really want to make sure Ultras stand out. That's always been their design philosophy, so I'm assuming that will continue here. I am going to Control F, and I am going to search for, I think I could probably just search for like armor, and it'll probably come up. I would prefer if we just never made another character that had armor break. Like just discontinue the mechanic. This is sort of the problem we got into with AoE green cards, is like they started with the AoE green card mechanic. They must have realized it was a terrible idea even from the first character. Like from the time when they gave that mechanic to Green Saiyan Saga Vegeta, they must have known they made a terrible mistake, but they continued, and they still continue to make characters with the AoE green card mechanic. Please don't make the same mistake. Please don't make the same mistake with the armor break mechanic. Let's Control F and let's just do armor. I knew it. I knew they were gonna do this. I knew they were gonna be stupid. I knew it. I knew it. I promise I don't know these things in advance, man. Okay, all right. Armor break. Cell has a blast arts card with armor break. Actually, they say arts card singular. You know what I'm actually gonna do here? Let me pull up Ultra Gohan. He's got to be like way down here. I want to just see if it's the same wording they use for him. Do they say that Gohan has 1 or 2 of them? Because we know he has 2 of them, but I don't know if they actually mention that in his description. Here we go. Let's see what they say for Gohan. I passed it. Gohan possesses a Blast Arts card that will nullify your enemy's Blast Arm. Okay, so it says a Blast Arts card. So yeah, this could be multiple. It's a held card, which means other characters can use it too. Okay. So we have 2 characters now that have armor break. I am very nervous, man. I haven't even read a single sentence in this Cell's kit besides the fact that he has an armor break blast card, and I'm already very, very nervous. Let's just start. Let's rip the band-aid off. With high level offensive and defensive abilities, Ultra Perfect Cell joins the fight. Okay. Strengths. Number 1, unique gauge that charges up then releases power. At battle start, the unique gauge will be time type. Okay, so that's like Ultra Hit, Ultra Kid Buu, the new purple Goku has that, and rapidly charge up. Rapidly, okay. When it reaches max, it will switch to release type. Release type? What does that even mean? And unfavorable element factors will be nullified. Okay. While its release type, draw speed will be increased and Cell's total boost to damage inflicted will reach a whopping 300%. Okay. Number 2, nullify enemy endurance effects at all times. Okay. Okay. This effect cannot be canceled, so you'll have an easier time defeating characters with endurance effects. Number 3, ultimate arts with an arts action. Tap rapidly after landing a hit to get a super boost to power. On a huge success, the damage will be greatly increased and your vanishing gauge will be restored by 100%. Unleash a solar Kamehameha at max power. Show the world the perfect power of Ultra Perfect Cell, and he is red. Okay, yeah, like I'm not really upset that he's red. I think it's a decent pick here. The only reason why I didn't have red at like the top of my list for potential colors this character was going to be is because I still do think Super 17. So I was mainly looking at the Android team. I think Super 17 is still a pretty competent unit. But sure, Cell is going to be red. The good thing about Cell is he is on a lot of teams: Androids, Regen, Future, and Powerful Opponent. You know, Future has like a insane lineup of red characters now. We have Super Trunks, who I think is like a really crazy unit. This Cell, and then we also have Fusion Zamasu, who's red too. So Future's got like, and then the old Zenkai Fusion Zamasu. So like, and then Red Mai. So like all the best red characters from Future. So yeah, this Cell's on a lot of teams. I could see that being very helpful. I'll take red. Yeah, as long as it wasn't going to be yellow, I didn't really particularly care what color it was going to be. Purple would have been kind of weird too. Like purple and yellow were the ones I didn't really want them to be, but you know, green would have been okay, I think. And blue was like a pretty premium pick, I think, for me. But I'll take red. That's for it. I mean, that's gonna position himself into a pretty good spot against Majin Vegeta, right? Permanent endurance nullification and red. We'll see. All right, so his Z ability, let's see, 5% ultimate and awakened damage inflicted by androids, 42% to tag androids or powerful opponent blast attack and defense. Okay, so he doesn't buff Future, which makes sense. Typically, Cell characters don't Z ability buff Future. At least Cell characters from the like the main Cell Saga area. Androids, powerful opponent. So not even Regen. Okay, they're just like giving up on Regen. Ultra ability is Android. That makes sense. Yeah. Also, I'm kind of surprised they didn't give him Cell Saga in here anywhere. Right. Usually when it comes to these I mean, it's not really an episode campaign, but usually when it comes to these like month-long campaigns where they focus on a saga, they typically do tend to give like the main releases a part of their Z ability that buffs the saga. I actually just want to double check. Does Goku do that? Does the purple Goku buff Cell Saga? I think he does. Let me just double check. Z ability. No, not that one. This one. Yeah, Cell Saga Z. Okay, so I'm actually a little bit surprised that Cell does not do that. He's only buffing 2 tags, Android and Powerful Opponent. It's a little irregular, right? All right, let's go ahead and take a look here. So he does have Blast Armor, which makes sense. I mean, this is gonna, I think, feel a little bit strange because I think, isn't this the first Cell to ever have Blast Armor? It's just gonna feel weird, right? It's like when Green's Super Saiyan Trunks had Blast Armor. Like, we'd never had a Trunks, essentially, I don't think, that had Blast Armor prior to him, and then all of a sudden they dropped him with Blast Armor, and it just felt a little strange. I think that's how it's gonna feel with the Cell. But man, this is... This is one of those mechanics where, like, you know, they tried it. I'll give them a pass for them trying it. It didn't work. I think it's a terrible mechanic for the game. And then they just ignored, like, they ignored the fact that it was terrible for the game, and they just continue, you know, releasing characters with the mechanic. I just... Okay, I mean, get ready, guys. This is going to be really annoying. Blue card is Obscure... Oh my God, this character, man. I just read the first word. Obscure your opponent's cards on hit, plus inflict extreme bleed. Massive pierce damage, 30% special move damage inflicted for 3 timer counts upon activation. Applies the following effects to enemies on hit. Obscures all cards for 5 counts. All cards are turned face down for the effect duration. Their positions are shuffled. 100% chance to inflict extreme bleed. Blast armor when charging forward. Super Baby 2 has a very similar effect. Obviously, Super Baby 2's blue card is a ranged blue card. But, I mean, it's got the same thing. It's obscure for 5 counts, I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check. Let's see. Obscure, yeah, same exact thing. Obscure for 5 counts on hit. I mean, if you guys were playing back when Super Baby 2 came out, you wouldn't really notice it as much if you were using him as opposed to playing against him. But if you played against Super Baby 2, you guys will know how annoying that is. I think this actually probably is, it's not really a huge deal, but it's probably stronger on a melee blue, actually. Because when you use the melee blue, well, actually, no, it probably doesn't matter, really. Are you more likely to hit the melee? It's not really a big difference. That's so annoying though. Oh my god, obscure. They got it. They gave him armor break, obscure on blue, and just endurance null forever. Okay. The green we know is a long range green. Draws a card on activation and charge the unique gauge on hit. Switch the unique gauge to release type as fast as you can. Applies a flying effect self upon activation, randomly draws 1 new card, 40 key, minus 30, wow, minus 30% to enemy sustained damage cut effects for 15 counts. That is very strong. Following effects occur on hit, charges unique gauge by 30%, and then inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade plus 20% damage received, and then it is comboable. So I did talk about this a little bit. Oh my god, yeah, they made him red. I talked about this a little bit in my reaction video because I was able to, like, we were able to see this was a long range green card. Here's the interaction I'm afraid of here. I don't know why I closed this Goku, but it's gonna be this guy again. So I think maybe they want you to leader slot Cell and then use him next to this Goku, and then maybe, you know, maybe even like Gohan, Ultra Gohan. But you can make a Cell Saga team with these, like, because Cell Saga has like really crazy equips from co-op last season. Remember, we're getting a new co-op season tomorrow, so they could also continue releasing really broken, specifically for really broken equips specifically for Cell Saga. So they might actually try and go for it with the Cell Saga team, similar to how they did with the Buu Saga team. We'll see what they want to do. There also is really good awakened equips. There are really good awakened equips for Cell Saga too. But this Goku and this Cell, especially with the green cards, very obviously to me are designed to work well together. And the main reason why is because of the way that both of these characters' green cards work. This Goku has an AoE green, and then this Cell has a long range green. The reason why this is so strong is because if you are switched in with the character that has a long range green, aka this Ultra Cell, and you go for a tackle with Cell, who has the long range green card, your opponent has three options. When you are presented with a tackle, you have 3 ways to react to the tackle. You can either vanish it, which typically is not a very good thing to do because then the tackle ends up getting a lot of value and you waste your vanish against the tackle, which isn't ideal. You can strike against it, which is usually the best way to handle it because it essentially counters your tackle and they would have to vanish it to get out of it. Or you could eat it on purpose or just get hit by it on accident. Those are the 3 ways to, I guess, you know, react to a tackle that's launched at you. The reason why this is so insane, the fact that this Cell has a long range green and this Goku has an AoE green, is because this combination counters 2 of those actions. So if you go for a tackle with Cell and your opponent strikes you to counter your tackle and you vanish with Cell, you can just switch into Goku and then use the AoE green card and get priority. If your opponent gets hit by the tackle or they eat it on purpose, you can sidestep with Cell and then use a long range green to get priority. The only way your opponent is able to essentially dodge you getting priority by using a tackle is if they vanish your tackle. They essentially have to vanish your tackle. There's no other way they can really deal with this without losing priority. And even if they vanish your tackle, I would say that that's still a net gain for the person who tackled, aka the Cell user, because you used your opponent's vanish with a tackle, which is pretty good value, I would say, from a tackle. So I'm not a huge fan of them doing this, like making 2 characters that work really well together that have an AoE green and then a character that has a long range green, because that interaction really feels like there's no winning. Like, it doesn't really feel like if you're the person getting tackled, it feels like you're already at like a huge disadvantage before you're even able to do anything about it. So not really a huge fan of that design choice, but that is a very strong interaction that they're clearly designing you to use with the Cell plus Goku combination. And now we know the fact that Cell's red also gives, I think, extra credence to that theory too, is because Goku's purple, red and purple work historically very well together, this color coverage there. All right, the ultimate has an arts action that powers up by tapping rapidly. If you get a huge success, super powerful effects will activate, greatly boosting damage inflicted, restoring the vanishing gauge by 100% or more. You know what, for this one, let me actually, this is going to be a long breakdown, guys. There's a lot to go over here. Let me pull up Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. This is the last character that had an arts action mechanic. Just want to see if the wording is similar so that we can kind of get like an okay idea of how the damage is going to be looking. Okay, so this is Gogeta's right here. Supreme impact damage. Falling effects occur upon activation. 30% ultimate damage for 3 counts. Wait, huh? Inflicts all enemies with no special... Okay, that's the yellow Goku Black mechanic. But that's on activation. That's kind of interesting. So you activate the ultimate, and then the entire enemy team has no special cover changing for 15 counts. So you land the ultimate, and then if you get priority again after that for the next 15 counts, you're essentially not going to be able to get cover changed against. Okay, activates an arts action on hit. The following effects occur if the button is pressed enough times during the time limit. Success increases damage, draws cards. Okay, yeah. I mean, huge success is essentially guaranteed. It's really easy to do. Greatly increases damage, randomly draws 4 new cards, and then 100% vanish back, and then inflicts all enemies with 3 subcounts. Inflicts all enemies with 3 subcounts. So you land the ultimate, and the enemy you just hit with the ultimate is locked in for 3 counts. I kind of see what they're going for with this. So they want you to use this, hit the ultimate on somebody, and then they're locked in for 3 counts. They want you essentially, because you're drawing a full hand, they want you to immediately follow up the ultimate with an attack. They're locked in, and then you get priority on them, and you'll have essentially no cover change, no special cover change active for that combo. So they want you to use the ultimate and then be very aggressive afterwards. I could see it. Okay, that makes sense. So let me just compare this to Gogeta. Gogeta's is also greatly increases damage. He's getting 20% here, Supreme. Okay, yeah, that's similar. Cell's getting 30%. I mean, there's not really a huge difference here in terms of just the amount of raw damage it looks like it's doing. Notice how Gogeta's has the anti-endurance effect, whereas Cell's doesn't, because Cell is just always going to be nullifying endurance, so he doesn't need to have it written in here. I guess the major difference is that Gogeta is doing this, canceling attribute upgrades and buff effects, so that could remove like type neutrality and stuff, so... But yeah, this is interesting. Okay. And then he's nullifying blast art. So this is different than blast armor. He's just not going to be affected by blast cards. All right, main ability, charge the unique gauge by 100%. That means it'll switch to... Oh, it just automatically goes to 100. Okay. Charges the unique gauge 100%. That'll mean it'll switch to your release type plus nullify destroy card effects. Okay. So he draws Solar Kamehameha, restores own health by 30% and ki by 50. Charges unique gauge by 100%, applies buff effect, nullifies enemies destroyed card effects for 10 counts, cancels attribute downgrades, cancels cancels own attribute downgrades, cancels enemies attribute upgrades. This is obviously strong. I mean, you guys know at this point this is good against Beast Gohan. I'm not sure how much this is really going to matter if the Cell is doing like insane levels of damage per card, but it's still nice to have this. Okay. All right, guys, we made it. We made it to the unique abilities, only 18 minutes in. All right. Cell can always nullify enemy endurance effects and will even nullify enemy special cover changes upon entering the battlefield. If Cell's health drops below 50% after being hit by an enemy's arts attack, you'll seal their strike and blast arts and put a stop to their combo. Okay, so yeah, it sounds like he has the standard half HP disrupt mechanic. Nullifies enemies, restore health when it reaches 0 effects when this character attacks. Yeah, that is just... That's like... The 17 and 18 character did this. That's... you know what? That might be thematic. It might be like, oh, Cell absorbed 17 and 18, so he's got to naturally have their mechanic here. I mean, is that what they were going for? Full Power Frieza has that. I think like Yellow Demon King Piccolo had that too, right? Applies the following, and I think Yellow Hit had this too. Applies the following effects to self when battle starts. 200% damage. Okay, that's the same as Majin, Vegeta, and Beast. That has not gone up, which I'm actually pretty happy that has not gone up because that's already ridiculous. Reduce damage by 70%. Reduces impact and pierce damage by 15%. Remember, pierce damage includes the special beam cannon. This is important. extra damage reduction versus pierce damage really matters. It really does, because the special beam cannon is pierce damage. Beast has the same exact set here, right? Pierce and impact by 15 plus 70. That's good, because we know how tanky Beast is typically. 50% key recovery, card draw speed, minus 10 to blast and special move arts cost. Gradually restores health each timer count. Applies the following effect self when this character enters the battlefield. Draws 1 card. Okay. 25 key is a little low, actually. Does Beast? How much key does Beast get? Does he get any key? 30. 30. I mean, it's not really that much different. 25 versus 30. Yeah. 50% damage. Okay, so he's up to 250 already. He gets cover and all for 10 counts. He goes type neutral defensively for 5 counts. Okay, that's pretty good. Applies the following effects self every time an arts card is drawn while this character is in the battlefield. Oh, he's healing every time he draws a card. And he gets 10 key. That's like green Angel Golden Frieza had that. And like green transforming Goku Black had that. Like that's like that kind of mechanic. He's getting damage too. 15% damage inflicted. So actually, when he's entering the battlefield, he's drawing a card. So he's actually getting 35 key, right? Because he's drawing a card here as well. And he's also getting 65% damage instead of just 50 because of this. Following effects occur every time when hit with an enemy's art stack while this character is in the battlefield. Shortens ally subcount by 2. Okay, I'm really glad this has once only, because, dude, this Beast ability, where is it? Maybe it's in the second one. No, I think it's here. Yeah, this is crazy. We don't need this on Cell. Reduce enemy key by 10 activates twice. That's, pretty annoying too. Following effects occur if own remaining health is 50% or below. Restores own health by 30%. Seals enemy strike and blast arts for 3 counts. Following effects occur if own remaining health is 50%. Okay, so that's a solid disrupt. And the main reason why it's a solid disrupt is because there's no way to get around sealing cards, right? When there's card destruction, when there's key reduction, there's characters that are immune to both those effects. You can simply switch to a different character and get cards and get key back. But when you have cards that are sealed, there's no like anti-card sealing mechanic that exists in the game. So you're kind of just stuck like that. Card sealing is a very powerful mechanic that they really haven't tampered too much with in terms of ways to get around it. The only way I could really see this backfiring is if you are intentionally saving, like let's just say you're like with Ultra Majin Vegeta or something, you're intentionally saving your green card until you get Cell to under 50% HP, then you pop his disrupt, you can use the green card to buy a little bit of time, fill your hand up, and then like by the time the green card animation ends, you'll have your sealed cards ready to be used again. That's really the only, because he's not sealing green cards, right? That's kind of the only thing I could see a way to get around this, but I think this is actually a pretty powerful disrupt. All right, unique ability number 2 has a special cover change against blast arts attacks. Yeah, so this is actually something else I noticed in the preview. I think we should probably pull up the Android tag here just so I can illustrate this. So I was really just mainly looking at the Android team for this. I think the 2 characters you're probably going to be running next to this guy is going to be Purple 17 and the Blue 17. The problem with that, though, is because we know this Cell now has a blast cover change. Actually, there's a very rare problem to see right now. All 3 characters would then have a blast cover change. Purple 17 is a blast cover change, and Blue 17 is a blast cover change, and now the Cell's going to have one too. You really, if you can avoid it, you don't really want to have all your characters with blast cover changes, or I guess just the same cover change for every character, because then if your opponent knows that you have the same cover change for your entire team, they don't even really need to have cover null, right? Because they just use strikes, and you can't really do anything about it. So that is just one thing to mention about that. I'm a little bit, it's kind of strange to me they decided to give him a blast cover change. I mean, it's when you take a look at the overall game, there certainly are way more characters that have strike cover changes than blast cover changes. But in particular, when you look at the Android tag right here, the good androids have blast cover changes. So it's a little bit of an interesting choice here. Has a special cover change against blast arts attack. Cell also has he's endurance? What? Why? Why does he have that? Cell also has an endurance effect. When it activates, it will seal your opponent's blue and green cards. Prevent them from playing their trump cards. You know what this should just say? It should just say this. Prevent them from playing. That's what it should say. The unique gauge charges over time. When it reaches its max, it will switch to a release type. While release type cells total boosted damage inflicted will reach 300%. Okay, so yeah, cover change against blast, which you can combo. Falling effects occur when own health reaches 0. Restores health by 40%. Nullifies own unfavorable element factors for damage sustained for 5 counts. Seals enemies special move and special arts for 10 counts, and then reduces enemies Dragon Balls by 2. That's Majin Vegeta's effect, right? Okay, I mean, this guy has a half HP disrupt and endurance. Wait, what is this? The following effects occur when an enemy activates a special move, Ultimate Arts, Awakened Arts, or Rising Rush while this character is in the battlefield. Restores health by 15%. Activates 3 times. Three times, by the way. Restores health by 15%. Minus 30% special move, Ultimate, and Awakened Arts power. Cancels enemies' buff effects. You know, does he need this? Like, literally, if I'm the development team and I'm like, you know, like my like staff person concocts Ultra Cell's kit, and I'm like the reviewer. I'm like coming in, I'm like, okay, you know, the little Jimmy, let me see what you made here with Ultra Cell. Let me take a look at what you did, and I'll put my corrections in. You know what I'm doing when I look at this? I'm highlighting this and I'm pressing delete on my keyboard. He doesn't need this. They just gave this to him for no reason. You know what this is? This is what it means to be an Ultra character. If this cell is an LF, you think he has this? Hell no. This is exactly what I meant in the beginning of this video. You can rewind and listen to me talk about this again. This is exactly what I mean when I say they give extra cushion to Ultra characters to make sure they are just the best of the best. It's stuff like this that they don't really need, but they give it to them anyway. You know who really needs this? Fusion Zamasu. You know, if Fusion Zamasu could use this. I don't know if he needs both. You know, maybe just give him this. He doesn't need, I mean, if he has this, he doesn't also need this. If he has this, he doesn't also need this. But like, does Ultra Cell need both of these things? Again, I'm reviewing the kit. I'm looking at Little Jimmy's work. You know, maybe Little Jimmy is like a really big Cell Saga fan. Maybe he's like, you know, wearing his Gohan cosplay to the office or something. Like, dude, I just highlight this and I click delete and I'm like, okay, reviewed. Boom. Let's launch him. Like, that's me looking at this kit and I'm like sort of thinking about what to do here. This is not. Why does he have these? Why is he destroying 2 Dragon Balls when he has his endurance activated? Why is he sealing these cards? Why is he healing? Why is he deleting, like, 3? Does he need to do it 3 times? Like, do they ask these questions? When they make these kits, do they sit down and they're like, okay, there's a very specific reason why he does this 3 times, and here's why. There's a very specific reason he's healing by 15%. Here's why. There's a really specific reason he's deleting buffs. Here's why. Do they actually, like, do that, or is it just like, you know, oh, well, this number sounds good, haha, nice going, Jim, and then they just print the characters. Like, that's probably what they do, right? Okay. Anyway. Oh yeah, now we get to the unique gauge. If unique gauge is time type, unique gauge will be time type when battle starts. Okay, that doesn't really make a lot of sense, but all right. Rapidly charges on unique gauge while this character's in the battlefield. So rapidly charges. Let me just see if I can find another character that has a similar wording to this. I think it's this guy probably has the same. Is this guy's rapidly charges, right? Where is it? No, his is just charges. Okay. Let me go back to the top. Who has a time type unique gauge? Majin Vegeta, actually. Rapidly charges, yeah. So this is gonna fill up just as fast as Majin Vegeta. Wow, that's very fast. Rapidly charges own unique gauge while this character in the battlefield. Applies the following effect self once unique gauge is full. Switches unique gauge from time type to release type. Randomly draws 1 new card. Okay. He's healing again, 15% health and 30 ki. Nullifies attribute downgrades and normal conditions for 20 counts? 20 counts? What? Nullifies unfavorable element factor offensively too? So he's doing type neutral to blue characters. Future Gohan and Trunks are gonna get mauled by this guy. Cancels attribute downgrades. Okay. So this actually is a good way of like showing what the wording actually means here. Not only is he nullifying attribute downgrades, which means that from this point forward he's not going to be afflicted by them, he's also canceling the existing ones. So if you're comboing Beast Gohan with this cell and you have your unique gauge fill up during the combo, all existing arts cost debuff stacks are getting canceled and you're going to be immune to them for 20 counts. That is really crazy. That is really crazy. All right, if unique gauge is release type, own unique gauge gradually decreases while this character is in the battlefield. Gradually decreases. I don't know if this is the first time we've ever seen a release type unique gauge, right? I'm pretty sure. I don't remember this being on a different character. Okay. Own unique gauge gradually decreases. The unique gauge will not charge while it is release type. Applies the following effects until own unique gauge reaches 0. Yeah, here's where the 50% damage comes in because he's already got 250, right? He's got 200 base and he's got 50 when he's switches in for the first time. So 300% in total. 20% special move damage, increases arts card draw speed. So when he has the release type unique gauge up, he's got double card draw speed. 30% health restoration. Switch, and remember, when this fills up, he's getting another card too. And 30 ki. And type neutral. And immunity to all this stuff. Yeah, this is insane. Switch his own unique gauge from release type to time type once it reaches 0%. So yeah, just like it swaps back and forth. And this doesn't charge when he's on standby. So it might be a situation where like you want to switch into the cell and have the unique gauge be very, very close to be filling up. Switch him out so that the next time you switch him in the middle of a combo, he might get the gauge filled up in the middle of the combo. That's probably what I could see happening with this guy. Dude, this guy is ridiculous. There's no way he's not number one. There's no way. He's got armor break on top of all this. He's armor breaking. Okay, I'm done. I'm out. Yeah, he looks pretty crazy. I can't even like go over like armor break, arts action, endurance, buff removal. He's got endurance nullification at all times. He's got obscure on his blue card. Like this ridiculous unique gauge. He's deleting attribute downgrades. He's red. I'm done. I'm out. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think. He's stupid.